we're gonna try to trick people into thinking that they were all together in the music video.
I certainly thought they were.
Yes, dream. But before you dream, you have to prepare yourself. I went with just one assistant and I did camera, DP. I almost did the makeup for her.
What would you say is the biggest tip, maybe, that you have for someone wanting to become a producer or a director like yourself?
Okay, Bad Bunny is gonna be in the song. Can you come to Puerto Rico and shoot?
Are there things you have to compromise?
I like things more sexy and elegant.
Yeah, like you
vulgar.
just said. Uh-huh.
But it was a whorehouse.
I did not. We're getting the real inside scoop here. I had no idea, guys. Welcome back, my creative beings, to another episode of the MV series. Once again, I am Maria Van Sothen, your host and curator-in-chief. Guys, today you're in for a real treat, as I'm about to be chatting with one of the most important directors in the Latin music industry today. Not only is he a director, but he's also a producer and the owner of his own production company, Mastermind Entertainment. Gustavo Camacho, welcome to the Envy series. How are you?
Thank you for the invite.
I'm so happy to have you here today. I must say that, when we started working together, Gus, in a few videos and projects, I was so incredibly impressed with your skills, with your trajectory, with the way you ran your crew. It was truly out of a movie. You have also obviously collaborated with the most incredible artists in our industry today, including Bad Bunny, Shakira, J Balvin, Maluma, Nicky Jam, Rauw Alejandro, Luis Fonsi, Nati Natasha, Prince Royce, Arcangel, Don Omar, Wisin and Yandel. And truthfully, guys, I could spend the whole day telling you the amount of people and projects this man has touched and, really blessed people and the world with. And we will definitely be talking about some of these headlining moments with you guys a little bit later in this episode, and allow Gus to tell you guys a little bit of his experience with this artist and the projects he's collaborated with them on. But first, Gus, I love to start our interviews really getting acquainted with you. So can you tell us how your journey in this industry started and what made you decide to pursue this creative path in the first place?
Well, it's overwhelming and it's been a beautiful journey, as you said. It started a long time ago. I was introduced to music through my dad. He wanted to be an architect and a trumpet player, but he's a doctor. So
very different.
Yeah, but we listen to music like every day. He's a music collector. He has a lot of albums. And I went to piano lessons and to paintings, art. I used to paint, and some of my family members, they have drawings that I did. And that's how I started. And then it came MTV. And I used to stay late at night recording the videos on a Betamax tape and then going through the videos again during the day. Then I went to a German school.
I did too. That's crazy. I did too.
Ich spreche Deutsch.
Me ein bisschen.
No, ein bisschen. So I went to concerts. Like my first concert was Bon Jovi in the Hamburg Arena.
Huge fan.
Exactly. And then when I graduated high school, I was like, what do you want to become? You're the son of the doctor, and the whole society in that time, you either become a doctor, a lawyer, something like that, and becoming an artist or a filmmaker was like
a little bit weird, right, at the time.
But my parents, both of them, they really supported me. So I went, I studied TV and video production. And when it came time to do my thesis, I did it with Shakira. She was a high school student, and this is the song she sang at the Viña del Mar.
Of course.
And it won the third prize in Viña del Mar.
That's crazy.
So my dad told me, okay, what's next? I said, okay, I want to go to film school. So I went to Full Sail University in Orlando. And that's how I started in the industry.
Really getting your foot in the door. And that's amazing because, I think this is one of the reasons we started this project as well. I think that today people finally understand, right, that there's so many other careers in the creative field. Like you said yourself, that back then it wasn't even an option for people like us to like think that we could, make a
Exactly.
living out of this, truthfully be successful one day in this, because it wasn't even something that I think the past generations thought to be a full-time job or even possible, right? So it's
Exactly.
beautiful to see that you were able to already think of that back then. And I think you were definitely one of the lucky ones that you had your parents supporting you as well.
All the way when I finished film school, my dad, okay, I wanted to be a director from the get go.
Right.
And he's like, okay, what do we do? Say, why don't we buy a film camera?
Start from there.
Exactly. I have this amount of money. He said, I double the money you have and let's go to LA. And I bought a film camera. I took it to Colombia because I didn't have a visa to stay here and I needed to build a demo. So I went to Colombia and started working with Sony Music, videos on film, which there weren't making those videos back in the day on film. So I started building my demo, and when it came the time that the film lab was here in Miami, so I was always going back and forth.
And forth, right.
So when I had enough videos, I presented that to Juan Hidalgo at JNN Records, and he gave me the opportunity to start working on videos right here. I did all the merengues, bachata videos from the Dominican Republic. I think I have the keys of the city.
They should, if you don't, they should give it to you. That's for sure.
Reggaeton
Wow.
wasn't even in the map yet.
So that's why you were doing merengue and all of these other
Exactly.
genres at the time.
The genre from Colombia is vallenato. So I basically did the Elvis of vallenato, which is what was he said Diomedes Diaz.
Wow.
So for doing Diomedes Diaz, which is number one in Colombia, I started doing all vallenatos. Then came HTV because I was always going back and forth. I introduced myself to the program director of HTV. Harvey Grisales is a guy from New York, but he was raised in Cali, Colombia. So we had a lot of things in common, and we spent a lot of time. We became friends. And in Colombia, they say if you want to be on HTV, you got to do the video with Gus. That's
Wow.
what's the same. So more work, but then again, it came digital, Napster, and all that, and the industry went down like it was a crash.
Almost like the stock market at its own times. Yeah.
Something like that. And videos, we didn't do any like, okay, where's the job? What happened? It went away. But then came YouTube.
Wow.
So technology brought music videos back to life.
Wow. I had not thought of this process, but there was a crash for them to come back up. That's tricky. That
Yeah.
was tricky back then. And Gus, today, right, in your job today, now that we understand a little bit more how you started in this industry, how your path was, and that growth, even together with technology, right? How that growth happened for you, the ups and downs for you to arrive where you are today. Can you tell us, right, exactly what your job today entails and what are the skills needed for someone to become a director today?
Okay, this is. I have a lot to say about this because I think social media has teach people to dream, and I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist, but social media hasn't teach people to prepare, to educate themselves, because your dreams are as big as your preparations. If you don't educate yourself, you won't have
Much to work with.
exactly, and that's the thing. The the tools you need is preparation. You need to read. A creative without culture is not a creative. Without culture, there's no creativity. Everything has been invented. You're just modifying things. And if you don't know about those things, it's really hard to be a creative. Because I can come up with an idea. Oh, why don't we make buses with two floors? So that's been invented in London over a
Decades ago.
century. They say,
Centuries,
oh, I've never
exactly.
been to London. Oh, see, you don't know the world, you don't know culture, you don't read books, you don't do research. And that's the thing I have with social media. Yes, dream. But before you dream, you have to prepare yourself.
That is so true. That is so true. It's so accurate. And I think that is truthfully that. I think you can have your dream and that can be used right for you to be able to get more and more. But like you said, without the studies, without the preparation, without understanding the field, there's you can't really, arrive anywhere.
There's new technology every 5 years, especially like in editing and stuff like that. And I was talking to some editors, and new editors, they don't even know what a time code is.
Wow.
So you have to know the basis in order when the technology evolves, you already know that it's easier to go from one to the other. But you
Absolutely.
have to know the basis of things.
You do. You do. So you would instruct them to obviously make sure that every base is covered, right? From additions, since new technologies or past history, even that they need to know about, right?
And the other thing is like knowledge like, of this type of job that we do is available on the internet, on YouTube. It's
Absolutely.
fine, but you have to investigate that, do the research. Because the director is like the glue of these different departments and either music video or commercial or movies. Because I have to understand a little bit of your world in order to let you know what I want. Because
That is so true.
if I don't understand the fabrics or how they shine with the lights or what colors are better for the type of look I want, if I want to create a cold look or a warm look, what color scheme do I need? Complementary colors. I need to study that. It's easier for me to tell you, and it will make your job easier.
So much easier. And I think by far, like I've worked with so many directors in this journey of mine as a stylist. And I think that something I've always really worked well with you on was that your directions were always very on point. And when I received the treatment from your crew, it was always very understandable what I had to do. And I think that you were also very pragmatic about the way you did it because rarely in your sets I had to change something last minute because you already were instructing me very well from the beginning on what I needed to bring to you.
It also comes from experience.
Yeah.
I've done this so many times that I already fucked it up so many
So
times
many
already
times.
that I know what I want exactly in a music video or in a particular look.
I couldn't agree more. And I think you've done that so brilliantly well, at least with me in all the
Mm,
jobs
thank.
we've been in. And I think that also applies, right? Talking about skills that directors need to have today to do your job
Communication, yeah,
is
also.
understand also a little bit of everybody that's participating besides the skills that the director needs to have
Yeah,
for their.
how do I tell a DP, okay, I want a high contrast video, or I want a high chroma video, or to the art department, I want a glossy or matte, or you have to understand textures or how light works, diffusion, and all that. Just get in there and let the other people tell you what to do. First, you have to tell them, and then they have to do their work.
Because a director does direct and it's not only the video or the commercial itself, but it's also everybody around you to make sure that the final product will be delivered the way the client expects and that you're happy with as well, right? What would you say was your first opportunity either as a producer or director, right? Like a big break that you got, and do you remember how you got that?
Well, it comes in different stages. The first one actually doing Diomedes Diaz videos, it was an incredible,
First opportunity for you.
and I learned a lot how like I learned from the get go how artists can have a vision and to put that in an image. Then Jorge Celedon, which I did like 16 videos for him. And one of the videos became Video of the Year in Colombia for Premios Nuestra Tierra. Then reggaeton came to town.
With everything, el perreo.
And I had a huge collab with Arcangel. Like we did, I think it was like 6 videos. And we had one that became like very famous was Hace Mucho Tiempo, a song produced by Tiny. And I told Rafi Pina, why don't we go to Europe and shoot these music videos? He said, I don't have the budget. I said, don't worry. I just hired an assistant. I went with just one assistant and I did camera, DP. I almost did the makeup for it.
Oh my God. But that's where it comes in that you need to know everything, right? You've done it all.
Omi Rivera, which is still Arcangel's manager, Arcangel, the assistant, me. It was only people. And at the hotel in the first floor, there was a makeup girl who did airbrush.
Yes, of
for him.
course.
And he's skinny. He doesn't sweat. And he wasn't that hot. So just one makeup for the whole day.
And it worked out.
And it worked out perfectly. So we did Gucci Boys Club. We did like different videos. And then again, an artist, Rauw Alejandro, Eric Duars, called me like, listen, I'm developing this new artist.
This new artist, imagine.
I have this song. Shoot it in a white side. Don't worry. I said, no. Let me call the people from El Tucán. They might rent the place. I got the camera and we did a music video. That music video, Nicky Jam saw it.
Wow, so it was like a chain effect for you. Like every
Exactly.
time you did all these opportunities, someone saw it and kept inviting
Exactly.
you to the next big one.
Exactly. So Nicky Jam saw it. Then I did Manuel Turizo. Wisin y Yandel was there. Yandel hired me. And it was like, it kept going. And then Flow La Movie. And then Farruko, because the song, Rauw Alejandro's song, was with a Farruko artist. And then Elias de Leon called me for Darrell. And it kept going.
A chain effect, word of
Exactly.
mouth. And also, I want to observe the fact that you said, even with Arcangel, who's always going to be a legend in the reggaeton industry, you went above and beyond. Even when they said, look, we don't have the budget, you're like, don't worry, I know the vision that I have for this and I'm gonna make this happen. So I think that also what really helped you throughout your career, from what I can tell here, is truly, even in the difficult circumstances where maybe the budget wasn't there, you still found a way to push forward, right? And bring your vision to life, and get
Exactly.
creative with what you have to be able to book the next thing.
In the song, he was talking about Northern Lights. So I called the tourist secretary from Norway because I wanted to go there.
How did you get that contact?
Yeah, online. I called them and it's like, no, it's not the time for that. So we had to do it in post. We did it it was a visual effects, but I wanted to go there and shoot it.
You had it all planned out in your head. You had it all planned out.
That's why my hashtag is the world is my set.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The world is your set. I couldn't agree more.
I love to shoot on different locations.
Understanding now, and our creators back home also understanding, the journey you had. And I think there's so many valuable tips that can come from you, to people starting today. So what would you say is the biggest tip maybe that you have for someone wanting to become a producer or a director like yourself? How can they get maybe their first opportunity in the field, right? Because for some people, that is tough. They're like, okay, I know how to film, but...
Well, again, the first tip is education. First, you have to educate, because when that opportunity comes, you have to be prepared.
True.
You cannot seek a job as a lawyer, and then when they hire you, they say, hey, pay me to go to law school. Oh, you have to be prepared already. So that's my biggest tip. Like,
educate yourself and be ready for that opportunity.
And then try to find different people in the industry and try to start working as a PA in the art department, the light department, the camera department. Then you start, because it's a process. When you get to know how the process works, then it's easier, because you're the most creative when you don't know anything. When you know the process, then you start complicating your ideas.
Because you see the problems that could occur, right?
Exactly.
I also encourage a lot of the creatives with other guests that we speak about this, the importance of like you want to become a director one day, but there's a place you can start, right? And that is, like you said, try to be a PA. Try to first understand, observe the people around you working, understand, okay, as a PA, I see that the director is doing this and this and that. I see that the stylist is doing this and this and that. The light guy is doing all this other stuff. And that actually goes to the next question I'm about to ask you. How did you manage, right, to constantly evolve your skills?
The way of doing it is going to the new generation. I have a new colorist, a new DP, a younger,
Right.
a new generation. Like for the last 10 years, Brian Smaller of Company 3 has transferred he did the color correction of my music videos. So I asked him, I need you to recommend me a DP, a director of photography. And he recommended me Nico Aguilar. He was still at school at Chapman University in LA. And he come fly on the weekends. We shot, and then he went
To
back to
school.
school. Now he already shot 2 movies. That's like the way of me staying up to the new generation.
And now getting a little bit more in your process as a director, right?
Okay.
When you get booked for a project, let's say it's a music video, how does your creative process look like to bring this project to life, right? How does the idea or concept for that video start for you? Does the artist already come with a vision, or is it always you and your team?
It all depends. It had changed throughout time because back in the day, directors, music videos, treatments are 100% from the director. But now, since we have so much information and so many videos as reference, artists, they tell me, listen, I want something like this,
Mm-hmm.
or they already have a vision, and then you can add ideas to that. The process changes with the artist. Like when uh, I did like 13, maybe more music videos with Rauw, and we
Mm-hmm.
even chatted. Like I sent him pictures that I found randomly, or he'll send me some ideas, and I'll ask him, "What's this for?" Just keep it. Maybe in the future we'll use it.
Right. So you
Things
guys
like
just
that.
keep like exchanging that creativity
Exactly.
between.
But it doesn't work with all the artists like that. Some they just give you the song and tell, write me a treatment, and
Figure it out.
we'll do it whatever you want.
Wow, that's incredible. So it really depends on the personality of the artist, how involved they are with that,
Exactly.
let's say, visual situation, right, for their videos. And it's awesome to see that today, also with technology, you can just shoot a WhatsApp and be like, hey, do you love this? I don't. It makes
Exactly.
things so much easier to create that treatment and that vision.
And since I've done or seen so many music videos, I have a lot of data in my head. So when they send me things, I say, that's already been done. Let me send you oh, I want something like that. Because as I told you in the beginning, everything has been done.
Yeah.
My favorite director is Mark Romanek. And
Love him.
I have the books and everything. He's like, every time he goes to the library and researches, that's why he has these crazy ideas. And that's the director I like the most. In the Latin world, I think the job of Simon Brand is
Mm-hmm.
like a pioneer in the Latin world. Carlos Perez, Cacho Lopez, and then the new generation, Marlon Peña, Daniel Duran. Those guys are
There's so
really.
many new.
Fernando Lugo always has like great concepts.
No, and he did a
And
lot with Bad Bunny too, right? And
Nuno has like very beautiful stories. So the good thing is that everyone is different, and that's the beauty of it. Sometimes I send videos to Brian, and it's like, okay, let's do something different in the color correction. Let's do this, and I'll send him different references, and then he's like, bro, that's not you. It looks like a video from a totally different director. Say, okay, like high chroma, high contrast.
put it back to my aesthetic.
Crush the blacks.
And
And that's
I
it.
love that you're mentioning this, Gus, because it's something I say here a lot, like the importance of the creative building their own blueprint and their own face, because it doesn't do you any good trying to copy someone else. Of course, like you said, the importance of studying, even researching the people that came before you, right? So you
Exactly.
understand how to take that to the next level, but in your own way.
Well, I told Rao like when he was doing videos with other directors, like it's the intelligent decision because you don't do as an artist, you don't do every song with the same producer. You need to have like that diversity, and in the video world, it's the same. Every director has a style, and that's cool.
And I think it's important to understanding, right, which director, which creative to book for a specific project, because
Exactly.
maybe you want something super futuristic and there's someone that's so good doing that, right? Or you want, like you said, from Nuno, who's a beautiful, very, very incredible director here in the Latin industry, who I even did the Caramelo remix
Okay.
from Osuna and Carol G with him. And he's a natural storyteller, like you said. So I think you
Exactly.
need to think before you even, book the creative, is like, how is that person going to deliver what I want? Is this the right person, right? Do they have the aesthetic for this vision that I want to deliver? And I think it's kind of what you're
Exactly.
saying.
Sometimes it matches the vibe of the song.
And it's the
And
perfect choice for you.
exactly, and that's how you maybe select a director too.
Yes, absolutely. And a question I hear getting asked so often today, and I would love to hear the answer from you here.
Okay.
Once the idea for the video is set, right? You have the
Hmm.
treatment, the artist loved it, everybody's understanding what they have to do. What does it take to actually produce and bring to life that idea, right? How do you build these sets or scout the proper locations? How does that process work?
Well, the success of the production is in the pre-production. The logistics of everything, it's what makes a production easier or a flop because you have to get every department right,
Ready.
ready with the idea, with the concept, with the logistics, with everything. So it is a lot
Of work.
of work on pre-production.
And then do you have people that like build the sets for you? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, well, depending on the idea, when we have sets, we have an art director who does the rendering, and then we have the build, the construction department. So there's two different departments right there.
Two separate things.
Exactly. And then we have stylist, then we have lighting, camera. We also, depending on the look, we select lenses or cameras because a camera, the sensors, they give you a different look. So there's a process of selection there too.
A lot of thinking that goes before making that
Exact
happen, right?
locations,
Mm-hmm.
permits, insurance.
The permits are tough, right? Insurance, that's true.
Exactly. If you're in a location, okay, where you have the talent, then you have to hire a motorhome because for the makeup and stylist, you don't want him to be sweating on the street. Stuff like that. It's a lot of preparation.
Right. And I so appreciate you guys thinking of that because when styling, I think that the most important thing is like to have a safe space for the clothes, because you know that a lot of the clothes is not ours, is a clothes that is borrowed for the artist. Like, always happens a lot when musicians are shooting. So it truly is a lot of logistics. And it's right that when you're scouting for locations, not only do you need to think, is this the perfect place to shoot my scene, but is there space and everything around it for the other people to work properly here as well.
Yeah, I shot Travesuras remix,
Mm-hmm.
and we had so many different artists. We had like 100 people on set
Wow.
because we had Osuna, Neo, Casper, Wisin, Yandel, Mike Towers, and everyone comes with their crew. So I told Flo Lamuy, why don't we build a set that's 360 and we just shoot in different angles? That way it's easier because otherwise we're gonna spending 3 days here shooting everyone, and you want that group shot.
So everybody needs to be there at the same
Exactly.
time.
Or when you're working with girls, they want to be perfect lead. They want the hair, everything has to be perfect. So it's better to work in a studio than to work on location.
So you need to think of all these things, even if the artist needs more of that help from
Exactly.
their team, or it's something easier to do, right? If it's a guy, maybe they need less time, to prep the hair, the makeup or whatever not. That makes a lot of sense. And it's
Yeah,
truly, for you guys listening back home, it's not an easy job here. You truly need to be very organized and make sure that everybody and everything is taken care of.
exactly.
And once that video is shot, right, you're ready, you had your day, you wrapped your crew, everybody's clapping, we know how that goes, everybody's so happy to go home after the many many hours or even over a day videos that we have to do.
Yeah.
How is that after process for you? Do you deal with post production as well? And I'm sure the artist is also involved in those final steps, right, to check how
Yeah,
it came
it
out.
it all depends on the director. I like to at least edit a rough cut to tell if I hire an editor. Usually, Alex helps me a lot with editing and visual effects. But I do a rough cut, and then he adds some touches. And once the offline, the rough cut is ready, we'll send it to the artist or label for them to do changes. Once everything is approved, we'll send it to color correction because we only color correct the shots that we're going to use. So if they make a change after it's color corrected, then we have to redo it. At least just the shots they change. But once the video is color corrected, then the visual effects there are added to the video, and then export and delivery.
And that's it.
That's
Ready
it.
for YouTube, baby.
Ready, ready to be consumed.
I understand, and it's still, you gotta be careful with that and make sure also the artist or the label or the manager really made sure they wanted everything in there, because I'm sure it's so much work to change it once it's color corrected and everything else. So you need to be super
Yeah,
careful with that.
yeah. But now the artists, labels, they understand the process, and the technology has made it easier also with Vimeo and stuff like that, where you can just click and point where you want the change or add notes. It's really easy now.
No, and that's good to know. At least technology with that has really eased the path of
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
the post production situation and the director trying to deliver
Yeah.
their product. And Gus, in today's world, of course, I think always commercial success has been so important, right? Of a video. How do you balance your artistic vision and the client's artistic vision of a project with commercial success? Are there things you have to compromise?
Well, it's hard in the music world because you don't know if the song is going to be a success. Sometimes the video is not as good as the song, sometimes it's better than the song. Sometimes they don't promote the song or the video and it gets lost. You have that beauty, the video is beautiful and nobody saw it because of promotion. So it's really hard. It's so many
Variables that go
variables
within
over
it,
there.
right?
Yeah.
But you feel
So
at least like you don't have to compromise your vision so much for that final result commercially. That truly depends more on how much they promote that video.
well, it usually. I thought it only happened to me, but it happens to other directors that I've talked to. Once the video is done, because you have so much pressure, you deliver it. I don't like the video the first days, like the first 2 weeks. I'm like, because you know all the what if, or I could have done this, or all the variables that, or things that went wrong, or things that you didn't do. I don't like it. But once people start texting or calling, or the video starts showing numbers, like, oh, I did it.
I did that.
I did that.
That is so true. I think all of us creatives have that issue where it's never going to be perfect. It's
No,
you never think it's perfect when it's done, and
you
you're
have to let it
always,
go. Like, okay, it is what it is.
my baby was
You
born.
try to do your best.
Right, and I'm gonna love my baby as it is because I did a beautiful, I made a beautiful child here. So you
Exactly.
gotta, you gotta believe in that, and never think ill of your child, right? Always like think that you put the best that you could and that it's
Mhm.
gonna have the best results it can. But it's so true. I think every creative goes through that, truthfully. Truthfully. And now still talking a little bit here about you on set, right? And you shooting a video. How is that life for you on set? How do you personally deal with managing your whole crew, right? Everybody you're hiring, like you said, the art director, everybody that's involved in the project, plus the artist, right? And delivering the final vision all at once. It must be tough. How is that whole organization and dealing with those
Well,
teams?
that's personality. I'm very calm, actually. I'm not the screaming type director. Don't get stressed that much nowadays. Maybe the first hours of the video are very stressful because you want to start moving, start shooting. You want to start producing things. But I think part of my success is the relationship I've had with artists, labels, and managers.
I agree. I agree. I think you're definitely one of the calmest directors I've ever worked with. I
Because
must say that.
you don't have a client until they hire you for a second or third job. That's just a job. And once they hire you for the two, three, four times, that becomes your your client. And it had happened to me with a lot of artists like Gilberto Santa Rosa. I did 3 videos. Jerry Rivera, 3 videos. Jorge Celedon, 16. Tito el Bambino. I
Tito
did
el
like
Bambino.
11 videos. I did El Amor. I did Rauw, Arcangel. For Darel, I've done like 20 videos, things like that. Once you get hired by the same person, then that's your client.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that that is actually the main challenge in this industry today is ensuring that you're going to get booked again. And I think that you couldn't be more right. I think that that's really when the real job starts,
Exactly.
right? Is when you're booking that client over and over again. And I couldn't also agree more with you on the sense that your experience brought you this calmness, and that's really what makes everything easy for you, because you know how to direct me as the stylist, you know how to talk to the makeup girl, and I think that just makes things easier, because of course you can control the artist's timing, right? If he arrives an hour
No,
later.
and you know how complex artists are, and if they have another, if you add more trouble to what everything they're going through, then they won't like to work with you. They call somebody else. But if they like what you did as far as their work and how the connection between artist and director work, they will call you again.
That makes a huge difference. And I think when someone maybe is not as involved in this craft of maybe participating with artists every day, it's hard to understand really the amount of pressure they have to really go through, right, as artists, and pleasing millions of people and dealing with being okay with themselves, right? It's a lot of work, and a lot of stress that is added to their career besides just making music or making beautiful art. So I couldn't agree more that us, supporting these projects behind the scenes, we need to understand how this works to be able to make it as smooth as possible for the artist, which is your client, right?
Exactly.
What would you say are the main challenges, Gus, that a director faces in their work, and how do you deal with them? What's like the biggest challenge that you usually deal with?
Time. You want more time to shoot a music video, you want more time to create time. So,
Time is everybody's issue, right? I think even for me as a stylist, it was too. Like sometimes, projects even come up so close to when they need to be shot. For you, it must be insane, because for me, it's getting the sourcing the clothes, right?
especially during COVID, it was crazy how fast, like, you get called 2 or 3 days before to do a music video, and you have to get all your resources and get everybody in line to do a project in the next 2 days. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and especially for you, because as I mentioned, I just need just right. It's a lot, because when I borrow clothes, they come from another state. It's not from Miami usually, where we are based. But for you, it's scouting location. That's insane to me that you
No,
do
so
this in a day or
sometimes
two.
the idea of a music video can come in 5 minutes. You listen to the song and boom, oh, but sometimes you hear the song and nothing comes up. Like, what do I do with this song? It's So what I do is I start looking at books, pictures. I like photography a lot, so I start looking for pictures to see if an idea pops up or something like that.
Yeah, because creativity sometimes can be forced either. So that's where the tricky part comes with this timing. When they ask for you so late in the game, you have to do it. Of course, it's your job,
Like,
but it must be so tough.
It's the muse.
Exactly.
It's all about the
Exactly.
muse.
It's all about the music. And thankfully you've made it through till this day. So I'm sure
Yeah,
you
it's
have your own equation of how to, fix that in a very
that's
short
why
time
that's
frame.
that's that's why I like to travel a lot and see different things. That energy then comes back in new ideas.
As inspiration.
Exactly.
Of course, of course. And we were talking a little bit about, you watching MTV videos when you were younger and dissecting them, back in the 90s, where the goal was to get a music video on MTV, for example, right? That was the director's goal, to make it top one on MTV and get it there booming. How would you say that has changed over the years? Is YouTube the new MTV? How
Oh, absolutely. YouTube, there's a Steadicam operator
uh-huh.
that told me, I don't want to kill you, but it must feel good that your son can go to YouTube and see all your work. And I'm like, that's dope. Because when I die, he can just go on YouTube and start, my dad does this. And it's like
It
a
all lives there.
video library
Whereas
over
on
there.
MTV you couldn't because we didn't have the internet. So it would stream for, right, about what, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then it doesn't live really anywhere anymore unless they put it back on TV. So that's
Exactly.
so beautiful. It's true. I hadn't thought about that way.
Yeah,
You leave a legacy
exactly.
right behind thanks to this new technology and I guess, new way of really delivering instead of just being on TV.
Exactly.
That's crazy. I hadn't thought about that way. And this is more of like a personal question to you, but did the global popularity of Latin music and Latin artists in the last few years come as a surprise to you, Gus? And has this popularity changed the way that Latin artists and directors such as yourself create your videos and concepts today?
Well, no, let's just try to be more creative and competitive. Even I think even the Latin producers, you see producers like Tiny, it's like he's better than a lot of American producers. Or
He's huge. He was my boss too for some time,
so
and
you
it's
see like
incredible.
different producers in Latin where it's all about preparation and becoming good at your job and researching and trying to do best.
Absolutely. I think that also, when he was starting in reggaeton, I did a research back in his life even after I worked for him. I was so intrigued on, how everything happened for him. Obviously I knew from him a little bit how it all happened, but I was surprised how he never stopped dreaming big. And I think that's something I see in you as well, where you're always trying to do something new. Even when you had little budget, you're always going above and beyond and thinking of new things. And I think that's what he did back in the day when he was like, okay, I worked with all these reggaeton artists. And he saw Pharrell, for example, building a brand, building a thing. And that's when he started imagining his own life, even as a Latin, getting to that.
But the thing is that you've seen the process. The thing is, people now they want things fast. They want it so fast. He's been here for 15, 20 years already.
So long. He started so young. He was like 14.
So so it's a process and you gotta go through that process.
And get to the finish line at some point, right?
It
It's not a
doesn't
miracle.
happen in a year or two. So dream big, but prepare yourself because otherwise you won't be able to feel those shoes.
Powerful and so true.
Mhm.
And so true. And we spoke a little bit about your differentials as a director, right? You having being able to be calm, have great relationships with the artist and the managers. What do you believe besides that has possibly helped set you apart as a director, right, throughout your career? And what would be your advice for any up and coming director to be able to shine in the industry on their own and build their own list of clients one day?
Well, I think artists, how they have helped me also with their music because that's energy that I've used to create the worlds that I create. But I always research on technology and photography and things like that in order to create better ideas. You have to develop your technique. And I did a lot of music videos in back in the day that I don't really like now, but
Yeah.
it was part of the process. You have to learn to develop that technique.
Absolutely. And I think you have your technique very set. So you have your
I already
preferences,
have a
right?
system
Yeah.
already as far as shooting and editing. I put everything in layers, very organized. In music videos, I already know you start close-ups are better because they start sweating, so you start going out. Already have it a
E-
system.
Everything figured out. And even you mentioning to me, how you send, a video to your colleague and he said, this is not you. What would you say is you?
Well, I like high contrast. We crush the blacks. I like sexy, not vulgar. I like sexy videos. I like the surreal movement, and I've used some of them in one of the videos I did. J Balvin and Rauw Alejandro. We have clouds and the
I saw that.
anchor to the ground and things like that, because the reference is in sepia pictures.
Oh, wow.
So, but I did it in color.
You switched it around like we were
Exactly.
saying.
Those are is a photographer named Robert Park Harrison, and we switch it to color
So you came up exactly. You used that idea and came up with something
with
on
my
top of it.
style. Exactly.
And Gus, now, talking a little bit about the artists you've worked with, how was it working on the AM remix with J Balvin and Bad Bunny? How did that idea for the video come to you? Not only did it go viral, I was obsessed with that video myself. And I'm going to give you a little time to think about that while I remind you, creative beings back home, that the Envy series is available every Wednesday, guys, on all our platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We also have additional socials on Instagram and TikTok, all under the MV series, and also under my personal account at Maria Von Southen. So, Gus, back to the juice. We want to know how was doing AM remix? How did the idea for that come about? How was it working with this amazing artist on this incredible project?
Well, I've worked with different videos with Neo Garcia, and he was one of my favorite artists.
Leo Garcia
Also,
is
it's
amazing
like
and a legend
he's a
here.
cool friend. And so Flo La Movie, the owner of the label, the late Flo La Movie, he called me, said, "I have this song. He didn't want to do the remix, Neo.
No way.
The
He was
only
satisfied with what he had
exactly
going on
the
already there.
only way he was gonna do it, it was because J Balvin called him to do the remix and to do a second song. So I went to New York and I shot the music video over there in a big mansion in New Jersey. I like things more sexy and elegant,
Yeah, like
not
you just
vulgar.
said. Uh-huh.
But it was a whorehouse.
I
But
did not. We're getting the real inside scoop here. I had
it,
no idea, guys.
it's actually a whorehouse, but they look very elegant.
That's crazy, Gus. I literally thought, can I be honest? It was like this super mega elegant like house with this amazing decor.
The girls are dressed in Asian provocateur underwear, like
Expensive.
yeah. So we finished the video. I edited, delivered. We did color correction, everything. I delivered the music video. It was J Balvin, Neo Garcia. That's it. On a Friday night, Flo La Movie called me. What are you doing this weekend? And I say, no, I'm just here at home hanging out. Okay, Bad Bunny is gonna be in the song. Can you come to Puerto Rico and shoot his cameo? I'm like, sure.
You don't have to ask me
Like,
twice.
so where do you want to do it? Okay, let's shoot it Monday. So I went Sunday morning with the DP and the Steadicam operator. We scout the location. We shot it in the hotel. And then I had to fly from Puerto Rico to Miami and from Miami to Los Angeles because the video was going to be released Thursday.
You were in a crunch.
So we shot Monday. When we were shooting, I asked Benito, please come here, sit next to me, and I put on the holes in the edit where he was gonna be in. I told Neo to wear the same clothes because since we have the same style, we're gonna try to trick people into thinking that they were all together in the music video.
I certainly thought they were.
There were not. It was two separate shoots,
That's where
different
your
countries.
magic really comes.
Exactly. And I sat down with him. Is that in this part? This is your part. I'm gonna. Which angle do you want? Oh no, this is better because I wanted approval right away of the select shots that I wanted to put in the edit.
Because you couldn't wait. You had to deliver that
Exactly,
on
we were in a
that
rush.
Thursday.
So I flew on the airplane. I was sending the editing to Noah and Flow La Movie to the approval. I connected everything to internet Wi-Fi on their plane.
Which is so slow usually.
Yeah, I was compressing that video so much. It was like very small, but it went through.
God
So,
was in your side that day.
exactly. I had a picture of me with hard disk cables and everything on the plane. I landed and I told them, listen, there's no changing because I'm dropping the disc at company 3 to do the color correction. And once it's done, it's done. Okay, color correction was done Wednesday. So I have to send it to Alex to do the effects, graphics, and all that. He did that. We delivered the video Thursday morning at a noon. It was released on YouTube.
My God, Gus, that was a marathon to do this video. That's crazy.
My Dropbox was blocked that day because I was releasing 4 music videos
The same day.
the same day. So I have regular labels, Warner. It was a Sofia Reyes. I had other 3 videos. They were trying to get and Dropbox like blocked my account.
It was like, no, Gus, we wait.
Something
working
is happening
for you
here
overtime.
because there's so many people trying to download videos from your
Oh my
Dropbox.
gosh, you were popular that day.
No,
To say
I had
the
to
least.
call them to unblock it. It was
Oh my God, Gus, that is actually an incredible. I had no idea of any of this part. I just truthfully was a huge fan of the video. I know how crazy these things can get,
yeah.
but that was pretty insane that you managed to pull that off.
Yeah, and then the Monday, Bad Bunny wanted some change that were not in Puerto Rico. They were in New York. So they flew the chains to Puerto Rico Monday morning to be in the video that day. We did 2 scenes, one with Neo and one with him and the girls. And that was it.
And sometimes people don't realize how crazy and how tight of a time we have to deliver these results that people love to see and consume. But really, the stories that you just told is something that nobody gets to see. And this is why we created this show. It's truly for people to understand that everybody in these amazing artist teams have to be magicians as well to be able to deliver these things.
And I had to get approval from 3 different camps, from Bad Bunny,
Neo and J
J
Balvin.
Balvin. Because I needed approval of those 3 teams.
Everybody needs to give you the thumbs up. If not, it's a thumbs down for
Once
you.
I landed, I got the rental car, drove to company 3, and that was it.
And you're driving praying like, okay, approval 1 in, approval 2 in, approval 3.
That's it.
You
let's
can
go.
Sleep tonight.
No, I couldn't sleep until the video was released. Once it was released, I'm like, okay.
Give me a little wine. I'm ready.
Yeah, because there's so many things that can go wrong, but everything went.
God bless you, Gus. Seriously, guys. So you understand a little bit here of what Gus just said. It's truly making magic happen. And you know, it's sometimes so crazy to make these things happen, but they're so worth it, right?
Yeah.
Once all of you get to see it out there and you feel that sense of like, I accomplished my mission, the artists are happy, and now I can move on to the next project.
Exactly.
Wow, Gus, you are a magician. And every time I sit to talk to you or understand even more of what you do, I admire you every day more and what do you really get done in such a short time frame and in such high quality for everybody out there to watch and to see your videos. And Gus, something I always love to ask, you know, my guests when they come on the show, it's something we love to dream with everybody here. So, you know, if I may, what is next for Gustavo Camacho? Any goals or future dreams that you have, you know, in your career, in your life?
Once I wanted to retire and work at a label And I couldn't because all the managers of new artists started calling me back again.
You can't retire, Gus.
The good thing about directing is like you can be very old and still directing. It doesn't matter how old you are,
It
and
doesn't.
you can keep doing this beautiful job. But I would love to be more involved in the business side of the industry. I learned so much about publishing and distribution from JNN, where I worked with Juan Hidalgo and Nelson Esteves,
Yeah.
that I would love to continue that path.
Yeah.
It amazed me how many people don't really know about the business part of it, especially artists. They don't even know about publishing, how they can get money from royalties and things. They don't even know the names of the royalties.
What an important point you touched on. Sometimes, especially when they're starting, they're so eager to get to a place, and then maybe a label comes in or a manager comes in, oh, sign this contract. And they're almost doing that blindly. And once they get to a place where they know what they were owed, it's
And
trouble.
and that brings me back to my point. You have to learn how the business works in order. That's your career. So you have to understand where the money is coming from.
Absolutely. If not,
Just it's not only a singer, it's a business. So you got to understand that too.
and it's beautiful that your goal is to keep studying, is to keep being more involved in this business side for your own personal growth as well.
I started already and at JNN. I don't work there anymore, but I'm gonna try to continue working at labels. I already wrote a script for a movie.
No way. That's awesome. I would love to see that. Stay
High
tuned.
high chroma, high contrast, sexy,
Everything that he built his trademark
elegant,
on.
stylish.
No, and it's so exciting to hear this. You see, guys, the importance of building your own vision and your blueprint. Here it is. He even
So,
was able to think of a film with all his aesthetic and the differentials he set for himself in the field.
so let's see.
Stay tuned,
Stay
creatives. Gus
tuned.
is coming with a whole movie for you. And finally, we love to give opportunities for our creatives back home. Gus, is there anywhere or any email that maybe someone with already experience or someone just wanting to learn, studying in school, to apply for a PA position or whatever, DP, whatever it is that you may need? Is there anywhere they can apply to maybe intern or assist you on a project one day with your team?
Yeah, my email is gusfilm@mac.com. Really easy. It's the handle of my Instagram is at gusfilm, and that's how they can find me.
Perfect. So, you guys, there you go for you guys wanting to really be involved in directing, producing everything that Gus does today. Please, you have the most incredible opportunity today, right from, Gus himself to be able to join him one day. And, hope you guys are able to take advantage and enjoy this beautiful opportunity that he's giving to us here today. Gus, I truthfully could not be happier that I had you on today. I think that
Did I talk too much?
not at all. You talked just enough. And I think it was so important, for people that admire this profession today. It's hard to imagine, the amount of work or the crazy situations we have to go through to deliver a video to YouTube. And I think you were able to explain this so well today. You were a real example to be followed here in this industry. You inspire me so much. This is why I wanted you here. The relationship we shared on set was truly spectacular. The way you lead the whole team below you is out of this world. And that's why I wanted our creatives to hear from your mouth how this industry works and what it takes to be a director today.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You
Like
see,
the
he knows
German.
more German than me, guys. Clearly, he took more, he paid more attention to class than I did. Gus, thank you so much, creatives. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Gus, for being
Thank
here
you.
once again. And hope to see you guys once again next week, right here at the MV Series.
Auf Wiedersehen.